You know how long you'll be? Or you eat?
Greetings, my people.
Huh?
Mhm.
Okay. Wait.
Greetings, my people. How we doing? I get you in the terms of a BB448. Make sure I get my camera right. I always have trouble adjusting this camera. Anyway, I'll leave it at that. Trying to figure it out. But I greet you in the terms of a BB448, African liberation. And I'm just calling this an early morning build. Early morning build. Let's get a little breathing in. Early morning build of thoughts. By what I mean when I say thoughts, a year later, when I look at my life this time last year, I was going through a major storm. I was going through a major storm. It was probably the most challenging thing I've ever faced. And I faced some obstacles. So that's why I also label it obstacles and hurdles. I faced some obstacles in my life, but none compared to last year, 2020. Last year, 2020 started out crazy. Maybe around mid-August, mid to late August of 2020, my mom was diagnosed with stage 3/4 lung cancer. My son had health issues. I was going through an extremely trying time in my personal relationship, separating from the woman I loved. All of these things. And where I am a year later, I'm stronger. I can say that. I'm stronger. Some areas I'm still working and dealing with. And that's why I like this platform. I like to be transparent. Sometimes I like to say maybe I'm a little too truthful for my people, but I don't never think you can be too truthful for your people. But sometimes I really do, because I feel like the shaping people kind of want this facade. That makes sense what I'm saying. I think people, when it comes to like internet personalities or whatever, I think, and I could be wrong, and we can have a dialogue about it, but I think for the most, a lot of people want these internet personalities to kind of be perfect. And I'm not saying a person should get on here and talk about their trials and their struggles, but two things I'm kind of leery with. I'm leery with a person that always agree, and I'm leery with a person that always is happy, or just always act like everything is going good in their lives. Now, be that as it may, you want to filter out what you put out to your audience. I can get that. Totally, I can get that. But when you always like you never have a sad day, you never go through anything, I can get how people market. Because sometimes just like, but I'm a big proponent of too much of anything is bad. Too much of negativity has had its effect on our people. Too much of positivity, and then I start to feel, in my personal opinion, that we're no longer living in reality, if that makes sense. So a lot of these personalities I see, they always come out and they're like, you are the one that's in charge of your destiny. Happiness starts with you. And all of these things is true. I'm not saying these things aren't true. Happiness starts with you. The best thing you could do is be as positive. In hindsight, absolutely. But what about when them things hit you? What about when them things bust you in your mouth? Yeah, I'm from the South. I said things. What about when them things punch you in your mouth? What about when you have to grow up? And a lot of us are grown. Now, dig this. A lot of us are grown, but a lot of us haven't grown up. A lot of us are adults, but we haven't grown up. So, and keep it in theme of what I'm talking about. That forced me to grow up on a whole nother level. Just being there. And that's why I'm so expressive. I'm sure my ex would ever to watch this video, or anybody that's a personal friend of mine, they know I'm an extremely expressive person. They know that I'm a person that, I got some shortcomings. Sometimes when you go through a divorce, you want to just blame it. Yeah, that's what it felt like. But when you go through a breakup, you want to always blame everything on everybody else. You find these kind of like rationalizations of why you treated a person shitty, or because you want to justify why you did what you did. But like I did in my other video, sometimes you have to own your shit. In my unpacking your shit video, and in owning my shit, I got to understand a lot, and I hope I'm making sense. But what I took the most from watching my mom fight for her life was to be appreciative. Sometimes we are so entitled. Sometimes we don't appreciate things. We've been so socialized. We've been socialized by Europeans or Eurocentric behavior or Uruguayan behavior that we are so, you ever just seen people that are just like numb? And this is total due to racism, white terrorism. So I can understand this. But you have people that just, we thrive off of not showing love. We just don't appreciate life, and it's not until you watch somebody go through that. That's why, in my opinion, in my truth, stay far away from those chemos, those vaccines. It leads to death. So when you going through this and you're watching this, and all a part of these hurdles, I have never hidden my cerebral palsy. The world boxes you in. The world looks at you like this. Because what happens when you have a disability is not what you can do, but as I've said before, it's what the outsiders. A lot of females have these preconceived notions of what you can or what you cannot do, just strictly based off what they think in their head. A lot of brothers will count you out just strictly because what they think in their head. So that's why, one thing, and I give credit. I talk about my ex, we went through some hard things, but I don't kick that sister back in. We have to grow. Sometimes the hardest thing is to love consistently, to love and to put energy into that higher frequency. And there's no work in blocking a person, dumping a person, turning your phone off. You notice how we always say, "Oh, my cutoff game's strong." Oh, I can leave a person alone quick. I can act like a person never existed. Now, to me, this is not normal with dealing with people, but it has been induced in us. The hardest part is sticking with people when they're going through the worst times, being there, understanding. So there's a lot I took away from that sister, and I appreciate what it was for what it was. But a lot of times people have you pegged, and people just really feel like you can't do this. So she would always tell me I'm kind of like a Despero, the little big-eared mouse. She said, so small but so heroic. And a lot of times it's not something I want to be. I don't want to be heroic because I want to call people out or I want to do these things. It's because I have to. It's because I understand who I am internally. When you understand who you are internally, when you understand who you are spiritually, when you understand who you are mission-wise, you understand. You're intuitive to what you are, if that makes sense. So a part of this journey was just appreciating life. I'm saying this to say appreciating life. When you watch somebody that go from 140 plus pounds to under 100 pounds in a 6-month time period, and this was a strong person. Your mind has to process what you're seeing. So you need as much support. You need as much love. And I'm not going to call in, but I had several family members that was just unsupportive. The thing was, when I was going through the worst battle of my life, I still had people calling me, what to do, pouring on me. Sometimes we can be so insensitive, we don't even understand what a person is going through. We don't even understand. I really feel like with some of my close family, they never processed what my mom was going through. So yesterday made a year that she came home out of intensive care. And the hospital, they're like this. Once they're done feeding off of you, they're done. Oh, we can't give you any more chemo. There's no need for you to keep staying in our hospitals. And we put our foot down. No, we're not going nowhere until you're done. But yesterday marked a year that she came home from intensive care. So February is always kind of like a personal month to me. My brother, who passed away when I was 22, 23 years old, his birthday is on February 7th. My mom's birthday is February 21st. Shout out to Pisces. And her transition date was February 26th. So all of these things are running in my head. All of these things I'm going through this time last year. And you just know my mom knew it was the end, and so did I. But how do you process your best friend? I didn't have a toxic mother. I didn't have a mother who didn't show affection. I didn't have a mother who made me numb, cold, docile, bitter. I didn't have an abusive mother. I had a homie that was my best friend. That was my camera woman. That was my advisor. She never talked behind my back. She never interfered in any of my relationships. She never backbit me. We never talked about each other. So certain things I don't comprehend when it comes to mothers. Now, when it comes to fathers, now we can have a different conversation. But all of this you're trying to process, all while being alone. Like I said, now I was with somebody, but alone. And how I doing this year? How does that relate to this year? There's a lot more progress. Not really in any relationships, because in owning my shit, I had to see what I did wrong. And, no need to, even though I will call people out, no need to air personal stuff out. And you just hope people do their shadow work. I worry about my shadow work. No need to call personal stuff out. But, sometimes people just leave you hanging. Sometimes people just like, while you're going through stuff, they're thinking about how they can get away. They're thinking about how they can be the most unsupportive. They're thinking about you're going through hell. Your mother, the person that gave you life, is laying there in that bed losing life. So a lot of days I wasn't friendly. A lot of days I was upset because why you ain't call? Sometimes you need those calls. You get all these phone calls and people want to talk about their personal relationships, and I'm happy to help. But sometimes it's like the little things, people asking you how you feel, how you doing, small things. So 2021, I'm more clear. I'm still going through. I'm still going within. I'm still doing my shadow work. I'm still working on me. But we can work on us and not. Sometimes a lot of us like it's either or. Either I have to, work with me and I have to cut myself off and just work on me. No, we deal in Mayat. We deal in balance. You can work on you, but also be with the people. You can work on you and work on your movement. I feel a lot more clearer in where I'm going, grassroots wise. Because sometimes a lot of this, when you get into this work, and you a serious warrior, you're trying to do it from the poor righteous teacher's perspective. That's no longer effective. I mean, you can do it, but there are certain things you need to jail to make it go. So that's where I am now. Surround yourself with better people. If you have to change your whole circle, do so. Surround yourself with better people. Surround yourself with people that have the same vision. Surround yourself with people that's going to tell you you're wrong. A lot of times people don't even have friends, or people will manipulate a story and have it to where it's just being told from their perspective. So they're delegating the information. You have to have people that check you. You have to have people that call you on your shit and say, nah, that ain't right, dog. You know, that wasn't right what you did over there, or what that wasn't right how you treat that person, or that wasn't right how you spoke to that person. But when you either don't have no friends around you, or you just have people that pour into you and tender dick you and say, yeah, she's a bad person, he's a bad person, yeah, that person is too stressed. Sometimes you have to put yourself in other folks' shoes. So get around better people. I don't like yes men. I don't like yes women, because I'm not a yes person. Learn to love. Like, this is the funniest thing with building with people. Now, we want a community. We want a black community. We want a black nation. We want all of these things. We want liberation, all these old pretty sounding words that we talk about. But how do you get a community without communicating? Do you make sense what I'm saying? Nobody wants to communicate. We treat each other like business deals, more so than family. You have to have a family dynamic. We treat each other like we're commodities. We treat each other like we're just business partners. You know, we treat this as this is our job. So when we go home and say, whoo, I'm tired. I get being tired. Like I said, I just received phone calls in the middle of my mom dying. So sometimes you can distance yourself. But when you're about the people, you don't take breaks. It's okay to take a break somehow, but there is no retiring from this. The fight continues because the enemy continues. I had a chance over the weekend. I had a chance to watch the Judas and the Black Messiah movie, and I probably will do just one specifically for that. But a lot of times, you know, people got charged up, and I will say this before I go into the, you know, because they know how to hit that psychological button. So now we're finding everybody that I've been on Chairman Fred Hampton. I've been pushing Chairman Fred Hampton. If you look on my Instagram page, I Speak the Truth 39, and you scroll down years ago, I've been putting out Chairman Fred. But sometimes, you know, that's a slippery slope and a kind of like this with those movies, because those movies can have good effects. They can introduce the younger generation to who Fred Hampton was. But also what it does is give kind of like a speeded update version. It gives you an hour and 20 minutes. And what I didn't like that it was being told from William O'Neill's perspective. And sometimes how they can manipulate the information and manipulate the image of a panther. But I saw the movie and it was okay for what it was. I don't like to say, you know, I'm attempting to get out of the habit of saying movies that showed our destruction, or movies that showed our heads being blown off, our greatest leaders being killed or assassinated. I'm getting out of the notion of saying that was a good movie. Because if we really think about it, we're saying our assassination, we're saying that was a good movie. No, that was reality. There was nothing good about what happened in that apartment on that day. And I know why people say it, so also not splitting hairs. But that liberation mindset is not easy. And it's been so watered down, especially in the age of social media, where we have a lot of armchair revolutionaries, or we have people that are, as I like to call them, meme conscious. And they'll see a meme and they'll, or they'll read something off of Google. Sometimes I hate Google babies. Sometimes I really hate Google babies because they can read this one little clip and they automatically think they know more than you. When sometimes you got to get it. Sometimes you have to get it. You have to dig for information. Sometimes you have to dig for information. Sometimes you have to dig for your information. So what I don't like is I don't like lazy scholarship. I don't like you giving your opinion, and I know if you've read something or not. But we don't understand how much you had to study to be a real Panther. We're not talking about T'Challa in Wakanda. We're talking about real Panthers, political education. Why are you out here? What is your mission? So this kind of like going with my unpacking of how I am in 2021. I don't feel so tense. I don't feel so uptight. I don't feel so in the need because I have teammates now. Get yourself some teammates. We want to follow this Umar Johnson wave of a one-man Pan-African movement. That's not gonna work. We're getting caught up in these Messiah complexes. The European have sold us a snake oil of, you're the one. You're the one. I am the chosen. There is no one. We've seen this template years and over and over and over and over and over. And when they take the one out, everything falls. Get out of that individual mindset. How can we be individual collectives? Now, we can break that down in a different way, but we want to be so individual from a European or Eurocentric standpoint, but not a collective from an African-centric standpoint, unless we have some meetings, unless there's some events and there's some vending to get, stuff like that. What I mean by saying using our people as business props. We're more than business partners. We're family. So I may come back maybe today, maybe come right back with the Panther update video. I mean, not the Panther, the Judas and the Black Messiah. But other than that, just thinking, and I'm thinking as I talked about, just thinking about my mom and not getting in that lower vibration, when it kind of can become depressing, because dealing with depression is real. Like I said, we have to learn to be intimate with people. We want to get on here and we want to always make it seem like I said, everything is okay. We'll kind of talk about it, but no, you have to be, because I am a teacher, but I'm also a student. I lead, but I also follow. I pass the ball because I know I'm gonna get it back. So I just want to say, shout out. I don't, and like I said, I don't even get caught up in views, because the right people will see this video at the right time. And it may be when I'm not even here no more. It may be years down the line. But this message will reach the right people. Learning just to be more cool and not letting the game come to me. I have such a strong will mentality. And that's due to the CP. You have to will things. You have to fight. You have to be a scrappy person. But I'm learning not to fight so much. I'm a fighter by nature, so it's always going to be instinctual. But learn to let the game come to me. Let it come to me. Make sense? So I leave you how I greet you, and a BB for Hodier, African liberation for African people. To everybody else, peace.